So this is a video to show you how you can make a simple website or develop a simple website. Okay, so with this one now, what we're going to do is we're going to make a very simple website. It will be containing two headings, a picture, and some text, or let's just say a paragraph. The first thing that you do is you can create a folder. I'll start by creating a folder. Okay, and then from there now I'll just go into the folder and I'll create a file. You right click and then you go to new, and then you go to text documents. And then from there, let's just name that document first, or any name that you want to name it. And then I'll click on this. So can you see that here it says file.txt. If your computer doesn't show this one now, the extension, you can just go to view and then you click here where they say file name extensions. Okay, but mine is already ticked, so there's no need for me to mark because it's already marked. Okay, so now we want to change the extension. So let's say rename. So you just remove the text and then now you put HTML because it's going to be an HTML file because you'll be using HTML to do the programming. And then here to give you a window like this, and then you just say yes, and then from there you can refresh. So can you see now that will become your window? Okay, so let's just open this. So you can click there, it will go straight to your web browser. So we haven't done any coding, so there's nothing here, so it's just a blank page. Okay, and then you go back. Let me just minimize this. Now you go back to your file and then you right click and then you go to edit with Notepad. Sometimes if you have got other text editor, it will give you an option to say edit with that specific editor, but I use Notepad++. So I'll click on Notepad++. So the good thing about text editors now is you can actually have both windows at the same time. I'll be having my browser here and I will type things here and then I'll check my progress. Okay, so the first thing that you do is with HTML now you'll be using tags, opening tag and a closing tag. So the first thing that you do is you put the HTML tag. So the tags will look like this, and then inside it will be HTML. So can you see that it's already giving me predictions here? So I can just click here. Okay, I will just say HTML like this for the opening tag, and then for the closing tag, and then inside there I'll say HTML. So I'll be a bit slower on this one for you to follow. Okay, so this is our borders. So this is our opening and our closing of the whole program, of the whole script. Okay, so from there now I'll put my body. So the next tags now will be the body tag. Okay, so I'll put my two closing tags. So for the body is BODY, and then the closing tag it will be \body like that. Okay, and then now I press enter like that. Okay, so we are done now with our initial text, and then now we go to the first thing that we want to put now onto our website. So I'll put the heading, the first heading. So the tags, everything that should be putting in, you'll be using tags. So this will be for my heading. So for heading 1, it will be H1, and then the closing tag will be H1, and then with a backslash. So all the closing tags will be having a hash, a backslash. Okay, so in between here, that's where you put your heading. So I'll call my heading my first website. So I'll say my first website. My first website. So from here now I can just save, and then I will go now to my website, and then I refresh here. And then can you see that the title is already here? So it means now we are now doing we are now actually doing things onto our website. So we can also add the next one. Let's add two headings. I just want you to see the difference between the first heading and the second heading. So with this one now, it will be HT because the first one is H1. So the next heading will be H2. So H2. Yeah, okay, this is small case. So H2. And then the closing tag, we say you start with a backslash and then H2 like that. and then you put the text inside. So okay, I'll say I am using HTML. I'm using HTML, and then okay, let me just correct this. Okay, if I save, then we go to our browser to see if everything is going well. So can you see now my first heading is my first website, and then the second heading would be I am using HTML. So can you see the difference now that the sizes themselves are different? This is the first heading, so the font will be a little bit bigger, and then for the second heading, it will be a little bit smaller. Okay, so now we are done with the headings. Now we go to the body or the description now. Maybe you want to add a paragraph or just add a paragraph. So like I said before, everything that you do or everything that you enter, you'll be putting in you'll be putting in inside the text. So the text paragraph now is P. So I'll put my opening and closing text. So paragraphs is P. Let me put caps lock off. So this is P, and then the closing tag will be \P, like that. Okay. And then obviously I can't type everything. So I think I put a Word document here. I'll just copy everything here for my paragraph. I'll just copy and paste onto my text editor. Okay, so if I paste here, so and then if I say save, I just want to see now if everything is fine on the website. Okay, so let's refresh. So there you are. So I've got my first heading here, my second heading, and then this is my paragraph or my description of my website. And then from there, now let's add a picture to just make things beautiful. So with picture now, the command is a little bit different. So now the first thing that you do now is you have to put the picture in that folder. Okay, so this is our folder. So I will choose this picture. I'll just drag to put it in that folder that our first HTML file is. And then let me just rename this to say PIC1. Okay. So it's PIC1.png. Okay, now we go back now to, so what you have to do is you have to remember this name, or what I can do is I can just come and say rename, and then I select everything, and then I copy like that. It will be much easier than to claim. Okay, now I go to my text editor, so I open my text, and then in the inside there it's AIMG, and then space SCR, so it's SCR, so this is image, and then the source, and then you put an equal sign, and then in quotes you put now the name of that image. So here I'll just paste that name that I copied. Okay, so with here I come here, I save, and I go now to my website and I refresh. Okay, what's wrong here? What's wrong here? Why is my image not showing? Okay, I think I didn't save it. I save. Let's see. Okay, I think the image that I used. Okay, let me just use another image quickly. Okay, if I'm to take this image, let me use this one. Okay, let me try this one. Okay, so with this one now, if I copy the name, copy, and then I go now to my image, and then I remove this, and then I paste. It should not give me problems. Okay, and then I save, and then I go now to my website. Okay, so I made a mistake here where I said SCR. It's supposed to be SRC. It's SRC, not SRC. So this is what you call debug. To say after you are done with, after you are putting in your commands. Now, if something doesn't work, you have to go back now to your commands and see where you have made a mistake. Okay, so now if I go back now to my, and then I load like this. So can you see that the picture is here? Because now the command is okay. So this is our first website. So this is the first heading, the second heading, the paragraph, and the picture. So this is a simple website. So the last time we put the first heading, the second heading, and a paragraph, and also a picture. Okay, and then I'll also open in text editor so that I'll be able to edit. So I'm using Notepad++. Okay, so let me just open this. Okay, edit with Notepad++. Okay, so this is what we did last time. So today I'll be using CSS. Okay, so when you want to change the style now, you have to use CSS. That's the script language that we use for styling. Okay, so the first step, the first thing that you do is you come back here and then you create a new file. You go to new and then you go to text document and then let's just say style, and then the extension, you change the extension to HTML to .css and then .css. Okay, and then if your computer is not showing your file extension, you just go here where it says view and then you tick here where it says file name extensions. Okay, so now I open with text editor. So edit with text editor. Okay, so this is my style.css. So for me to be able to link now, I will go to my HTML and then I'll write a link just below the title here inside the head. So you write, okay, I'll put my, so it's link and then rel. I'll be a bit slow so that you will follow. Okay. Style sheet. So if you can see now here, it gives me suggestions. It gives me all the commands that are there in HTML that starts with H, and then from there, if you've forgotten the word, now you can be able to just scroll and choose the right words. Okay. So it also helps you in some ways. Okay. So I'll put the name of that file. We said it's style.css. Okay, so this is style sheet. Okay, and then link. Okay, this looks correct, and then I save. And then from now we can go now to our CSS. So if you cannot view this, you can go to full screen so that you'll be able to see everything. Okay, so well, what we do here is I'll do some codes here, and then we'll go to our website and check if there is any change. Okay, so for today we said we want to play around with our paragraph. So it means we are playing around with this party from where it says as a foreigner up to outcome. That is the party that will be doing a lot of operations on. Okay, so for you to be able to understand this, you will have to go back and watch the first video so that you will know how we got to this point. So just go back and watch that video, and then from there you'll be able to follow us. Okay, so for the paragraph, our paragraph starts from here. So it was using the tag p. So you come here now and you write your p, and then you open your curly brackets, and then we'll do our CSS tags here. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to change the family or the style, the writing style. For example, Times New Roman, Arial, etc., etc. Okay, so for that one, you say font family. That's font family. Okay, so for this one now, I'll put Arial. Let's just try with Arial first. Okay, and then full colon and then same colon. So this is the syntax now. To say, you say font family full colon space, and then you put the family that you want, and then from there you save. And then now let's go to our website and see if it's going to change. So you come to our website and you just refresh. So can you see that it has changed? So we can try again. Let's go to Times New Roman. So Times New Roman, and then you save, then you go and refresh. So can you see that it's also changing? So it means now you can choose any family that you want. You can choose any style that you want your text to be. Okay. And then the next thing that I'm going to show you is font size. How you can be able to change font size. So font size, you say font, and then size, and then full colony, and then space. I'll put let's say 30. You write 30 pixels, px for pixels. Okay. And then we save, and then let's refresh. So can you see that our font has changed? So if it's your first time and you're not really sure what font you want, you can just play around with the numbers. You try 30. If it's too big, you try maybe 25. If it's still too big, you try maybe 20. Just changing until you get your required font. So I'll just put it back to 22. That's the font that I usually use. So, but it all depends with what you're trying to do with your site. Okay, I'll just put it to 22. Okay, so that was font size. Okay, so this is better now. Okay, but it all depends with your specifications. Okay, and then the next thing that we're going to look at is font style. For example, if you want bold, if you want italics, so I'll put italics. So let you say font style. Font style, and then your full colony, and then italic, and then semicolon, like this. And after that, you have to save first. And then you go to your browser, you refresh. So can you see that my text has changed to italics? So this is how you change to italics. You can go to bold, etc., etc. Here I'm just showing you basics, and then you can go and explore on your own. Okay, the next thing that we are going to do is a text alignment. How to align text. I think for this one, let's use the heading for you to actually be able to see how text can be aligned. So I'll add heading. I'll use heading 1. So you come here and then say H1. Then you open your curly brackets and close them, and then you do your CS scripting inside. So for alignment, you say text align. So text align, and then full colony, and then let's just say center. For we just want to put it on the center. Okay, and then we save, and then you go now to your website, and then you refresh. So can you see that my title is now at the center? So you can also put it to the right. Let's change to the right and see if it's going to change. Right. Okay, and then save. Every time you put a command, you should save first before you refresh. Okay, so can you see that it's on the right now? So you can do this for all these things. Okay, let's just try as well on the paragraph. So if I say text style, and then center, okay, if I save, let's see. Okay, I used the wrong spelling of center. It should be E-R-A-E-R. Okay, there you are. So if I refresh now, my text is changing now. Okay, wait. Okay, let's see. Text style. Okay, this is where I made. This is align. This is align style. This is text align. Okay, now so if you can you see that there's a different color from this side and that side. So it means if you put a command here and the color doesn't change to this color, it means you will have made a mistake on your typing. So just go and check where you have made a mistake, and then from there you'll be able to do what you want to do. And then if I refresh, now can you see that my text is centered? Now it's no longer on the left. Okay, so let me just remove this, because I don't want it to be like that for my paragraph. Okay, and then I'll just change this back, my heading, to the center. So center. Okay, and then I save. Let me just refresh so that I know that the step was correct. All right. And then the next thing that you're going to look at is now the decoration. We can underline, you can cross, you can do a lot of things with all these commands, but here I will just show you the basics, and then you can go and explore on your own. And don't forget to subscribe so that you will see all our videos. Okay. And make sure that you watch and up to the end of the topic so that you won't miss anything on changing and styling your page. Okay, so text decoration. Text decoration. Okay, so I'll start with underlining. So underlining, underline, and then semicolon. Okay, let's save and see if we are going to underline. Then we refresh here. Okay, so can you see that all the text has been underlined? Then there's also another command for line through. Line through. Okay, and then you save. And then from there you go and refresh. So can you see this is another style that you can also do. So you can play around with a lot of things now. Depending now with what your client will be wanting or what you will be wanting as a designer. So let me just go back and say none here. I'll just say none so that I can show you other things. Okay, and then I save. So if it's none, it will just remove everything. Okay, and then the next thing we've done is family, size, style, decoration. Now indentation. Okay, so for indentation you say text indent. Okay, this should be on the next line, so it will be text indent, and then full colon. So can you see that each and every word now is separated with IF. Okay, and then now you also use the size. Let's just try, let's say 30 pixels at first, and see if 30 pixels. Okay, here there's a space here, and then a semicolon at the end, and then just like with each and every command you save first, and then you go here, you refresh. So you see that there's an indent here. Okay, let's change maybe to 60 and see if there's going to be a change. If we 60 and then you save, you go to your site and then you refresh. So you see that there is a bigger indentation. So it all depends with your specifications. So the power is in your hands. Okay, let's just remove this. Let's just put, let's say it's 10. At 10 so that you'll be able to see other features. Save, and then I come here and I refresh. Okay, so we have done indentation. Now the next thing that we're going to look at is transform, text transform. Okay. Okay, so text transform. Okay, transform. Okay, there's an F there. Okay, there you are. And then you put your full colony. And then let's just do uppercase first. Uppercase. And then your semicolon. And then let's see if everything is going to be turned into uppercase. Then if I refresh, so can you see that all the text has been converted to uppercase? So you can also do this for lowercase. You can do this for a lot of transform that should be having. So like I said before, that here I'm just showing you how to do the basics, and you can go now and explore and see the different types of transform that you will be having. Let's just say lowercase, okay, so that you'll be able to see other features. Okay, so here I've converted everything into lowercase. So it all depends with what you want. What you want is what you do. That's the good thing with designing and also with programming as well. Okay, so now let's change the color of our font. So for color, the command is a bit different. you just say color and then full colony, and then let's put to red, and then we put our semicolon like that, and then let's save, and then let's refresh. There it is, our column is now red, and then you can also change to another color. Let's say blue. Let's say blue, and then from there you go and save. After saving, you go to your website, you refresh, so your column is now blue. Okay, so this is how to change color. And then the other things that you're going to look at is letter spacing. There are times when you want your letters to be spaced in a certain way. So the command for letter spacing is letter spacing, and then your full colony, and then from there you okay, this I'm supposed to put a full colony here. Okay, so you should be careful when you're typing now. Sometimes you might type in semicolon instead of full colon, and then you end up getting errors. So you should be careful when you're typing. Okay, but the more you do development now, you end up getting used to all these things. Okay, so let's start with 10. Let's just see what 10 pixels will give us on spacing, and then full semicolon there, and then you save. We need to say after each and every command, you have to save, and then you see if that command is what you actually want. So can you see that there is spacing there? So it all depends with what you want. Now you can just go around and play around and see which spacing you really like. Okay, for me, I'll just put it back to 0 so that you show you more. There's no need for my letters to be that spaced. Okay, so if it's 0, it will look like this. There's also negative spacing. So if I put, let's say, -4, -5, and then I save, and then I say, so can you see that that is negative spacing? Okay, so it depends. Maybe this is what you want. You can just use negative spacing, but for me, I'll just put it back to 0 pixels so that we can move on with our tutorial. Okay, and then let me just refresh this. Okay, and then the next thing that you're going to look at now is the space between your words. So that is now word spacing. Word spacing. Okay, and then like all the other sizes, we just play around with our sizes. Let's start with 30 pixels. So every time we'll be putting sizes, you use px for pixels. Okay, and then your semicolon, you save, and then now you go to your website, and then so can you see that our words are spaced like this now? And then if you change, let's change here to, let's say 15, and see, oh, this is 10. Let's just keep it as 10. Then we save, you go to your website, you refresh. So can you see that we've got a different size on spacing? Okay, so I'll just go back to 0 for confusion purposes. And then I save, and then I refresh my website. Okay, there you are. This is when you want 0 spacing. Okay, and then the last thing that you're going to do is you can actually adjust the height of your document. Maybe you want to cover a certain area on your website, and then your words or your content is not that much. You can play around with your lines so that they'll be spaced. Okay, so you come here and put another command that is called line spacing. This is line spacing. So line spacing, and then let's start with 20, or let's start with 25 pixels. Like I said before, every time you put a size, you put a px at the end for pixels. Okay, there's a video that talks about pixels that will help you to understand what a pixels is. This is line height, not spacing. Like I said before, that if the color doesn't change, it means you'll have made a mistake on your typing. So line height, and this is also sensitive to spelling. So even if you miss a spelling, it will not allow you to do what you want to do. So you have to go back and check. Okay, and then if I refresh now, can you see that? Okay, let me put a bigger spacing. Let's say 55, and then I save. Then if I refresh, so can you see that the spacing between lines is different now? there are bigger spaces in between lines, so that is from line spacing. Okay, so this is it.